Walk and skank and me say walk and skank, yes sir. Walk and skank and me say walk and skank. Walk and skank and me say walk and skank. You go out of the street, you fi walk and skank. You go.
Hello and welcome to your Monday's edition of Loose Mandem. It is so great for you lot to join us on today's show, so thank you for taking your time to do that. Right, coming up in the next 40 minutes, we will be discussing news stories that has hit past and recent headlines, such as domestic abuse in the UK and the NHS worker who cared for Boris Johnson whilst having coronavirus. We will also be discussing a new dilemma for us to solve, and towards the end of the show we will be playing another new game of Loose Mandem Does Guess for Pictures. So sit back, grab something to eat or drink, because that is today's Loose Mandem. Now, there has been a surge in reports of domestic abuse during the pandemic, and at the same time the justice system is struggling as before the pandemic was prevalent in society. There were long waits for justice. However, the first lockdown saw jury trials which here the more serious offences were suspended. After peers backed down in a dispute over how best to monitor stalkers and abusers, the domestic abuse bill is set to become law. The bill, which only applies to England and Wales, aims to strengthen rules surrounding controlling or coercive behaviour, and this also recognises children as victims of domestic abuse. The government has since rejected this, arguing challenging monitoring rules would be more effective. So it raises the question, do you think the criminal justice system is letting the survivors of domestic abuse down? Let's go to Solomon.
It's a very difficult really matter to talk about. I mean, you can say yes, because not every case is actually, trials actually, people have actually gone to court and actually settled it, and whether evidence is clear that the victims have been abused, they usually don't win, unfortunately. So you could argue that, but then there are other factors that do kind of show that maybe it's not always the courts that let down the victims, in a sense, because, well, there are victims that do withdraw their claims, you know what I mean, which is, and they could be actual victims as well, but unfortunately they have to withdraw because of either intimidation or other kinds of stuff like that, or money, or etc, unfortunately. But I would say kind of, yeah. I mean, especially in the last year, of course, even before COVID as well, but during COVID, there has been a rise in domestic abuse cases. I mean, even with the popular, the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard situation.
Yeah, that was
that was just weird. But I mean, that's been going on typically since 2015-16. But they tried to, I think they have a trial this year, but I had a trial last year in terms of the son, labeling him as a wife beater and stuff like that. But obviously, he didn't win that. But obviously, since that last year, we've seen a lot of evidence to prove that technically he wasn't the one who was the abusive ones totally. It was actually Amber Heard, because of all the, I think it was throwing pans at him, etc. So it goes, and the court ultimately sided with her. I mean, that's another.
Sorry to cut you off, but do you think that they're just doing that because she's a girl? Because most cases, sometimes, more people in power don't believe the male side, but it's the female and not the male. What do you think about that?
The thing is about that is it might be just a case of where, I mean, there were some rumors going around saying that she was friend or even mutual friends with the judge or stuff like that, you know what I mean? So therefore she didn't really she won because of that. But I mean, I guess there could be some you know, hashtag Me Too movement incorporated into there to kind of, I mean, that's what I kind of guess. I mean, I don't think it's just because she's a woman, because then again, there are lots of women who have had domestic abuse, you know, caused against them. They've been victims of domestic abuse and they've ultimately lost, or, you know what I mean, and they're women, obviously. But it's not a secret that guys are, again, victims of male of domestic abuse, but don't get to actually like have their day in court, or even like, you know, even get out to shelter, because there's like, I think there's about well, in the UK there's about 19 organisations offering refugees for male victims, right? Not refugees, refuge for male victims, sorry. And there's a total of 78 spaces, but of these are only 20 spaces that are dedicated to male domestic abuse victims. That's 20 in the whole UK.
Wow. So do you think that also needs addressing? Do you think there should be more?
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, I do know that I think males do make about a third of domestic abuse victims, although it's still quite low because it's only 0.8% of like actual like shelters for men in the UK. Again, plus not a lot of men will talk about it because, you know, of what society thinks of, like, oh, masculinity, etc., etc., etc. So I mean, it is. I mean, even for men who do want to go to court but they can't because they're afraid of like people saying that, oh, you're lying because you're a man, etc., etc. So that's another thing you can't really blame the courts on. But then again, it can become blame the courts on like them not actually like going through with the trial. So it's a touchy one. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's straightforward in black and white. You know what I mean? But that's it.
Well, thank you very much, Solomon. Josh, I'm going to put this question to you now. So this is from the Office for National Statistics. So it says here, the police recorded 758,941 domestic abuse related crimes in England and Wales, an increase of 9% from the previous year, and that was in year ending March 2020. And it says this continues an ongoing trend that may reflect improved recording by the police alongside increased reporting by victims. So what do you think about that?
I mean,
and not overall for you.
I mean, obviously, it's a good thing that more cases are getting recorded if it's going on, and I feel like that alone might be the reason why the numbers have increased.
Because of lockdown.
Not particularly because there were more, but there probably are more because of lockdown. But also because like people are more every year people are more willing to come forward and like actually say that they've been a victim. Yeah. So like and also like the police are slowly trying to get around the fact that like budget cuts and all of that stuff, and there's not enough police officers and all of that. That I feel like it's going to get to the point where like it will keep increasing until like either all of them are like there is a constant amount of them getting reported. Yeah. But I do feel like there will have been more during lockdown just because people getting frustrated at home with things that they can't really change. Let's say.
Yeah. Thank you. Do you think, Josh, more money should be put into domestic abuse charities and organisations and small, you know, community groups of domestic abuse?
I mean, obviously, like if there is more money that can go into them, without taking money away from other really important charities and stuff, then totally. Yeah. But like you need to, if you're talking about money going to charities from like let's say the government or something, you have to like obviously it is a major thing. But you need to they do need to kind of prioritise like what is the most important issue at the current moment. Yeah. So like I can understand if like it went towards something else, but I do feel like at least a portion of it should go towards that just to improve it.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you, Josh. What do you think about this and all what Solomon and Josh has just said?
Domestic abuse, like the rates, I think it's what Josh said about the rates, because I researched it myself and it said since March, or it might be you that said it, since March 2020, 5.5% of people aged between 16 to 74 in England and Wales experienced domestic abuse before being surveyed.
Wow.
and this is a percentage, and this is just what I got through the internet. White women with 7.7% were more likely than white men, 3.6%, to have experienced domestic abuse. So that just, the stats there, just that I think lockdown has really caused a really, like I say, quite a distressing problem now with people having to stay indoors and not really having a choice. Like another point here, like some people that are dealing with domestic abuse can't really come out. Say if it's like I'm not trying to stereotype, like a woman who's being domestically abused by her husband or boyfriend, whatever. It'll make her more vulnerable if she don't have any like family to get in contact with, any friends or any like social work whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's just like those who actually create the domestic violence could have had a crap background, crap upbringing.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm on, but I don't know for me because I don't think it's ever going to win. It's like saying peace. I don't know because it's like saying peace is going to come one day. Look how that's turning out right now. Look at the violence between the wars that are going on. It's just.
So why do you think like domestic abuse decrease or war?
It's just how the structure of living in the UK is right now.
In terms of like lockdown and like people looking for jobs.
How everything's being treated, like mentally. People are going to have mental problems out there, want to come out and try and get rid of, say, depression and that sort of stuff, which can lead to violence towards others, even themselves, which can lead to crap life for them in the future.
Okay, interesting point, Harry, thank you. So I'm going to put this question to you now. When we was in lockdown, the first ever lockdown, and the government said stay at home, one of my points I was thinking, what's happening with those people who are, in domestic abuse situations? Because the government didn't really say in the first lockdown, if you need to go, if you need to, escape out of abuse, you can. I think that got implemented further down the line. So why do you think that it wasn't implemented first? I know coronavirus is very serious, but domestic abuse is a serious thing as well.
That's true, but I mean, like I said, coronavirus is very serious. I mean, at that point, it kind of overshadowed a lot of things that was going on in the world. At that point, it was I think it was probably one of the peak moments of COVID. So that's probably why they didn't really raise the point of like domestic violence. And I mean, again, like looking back, like they should have, because obviously, you're stuck inside with a partner or even like parents, because children can get abused as well at home, not get wrong. So, and they're stuck inside with people that would, have violent or be aggressive to them. And for what, 6 months?
Yeah.
Down the line. So, I mean, it's not a very clear reason why, but it's just, I would say more to it's because of COVID being the main issue, that a lot of government and a lot of news attention was brought into that. So a lot of like stuff about cancer or all those kind of things kind of got faded away from the light, and COVID took center stage, unfortunately. But yeah, that's probably why they wouldn't have said that. I mean, it would make sense to have said that, because again, you're in a space. It could be a small space. You probably don't even have a garden or like other family members, but you're stuck in that small space with a person who is constantly beating you or emotionally abusing you, etc., etc. So it is messed up.
Yeah, thank you, Solomon. Josh, let me put this one to you now. Why do you think abusers don't? Why do you think they take it out on their loved ones? Why don't they just take it out on, for example, a wall, or go outside and cool down? Why did they have to run quickly to the persons who they loved the most? What's your opinion about that?
It might just be because they want to take it out on another individual. So it's like, let's say, like you want to hurt someone, right, and you just use that person who's closest, or whatever, as just a stand-in for whoever you actually want to like hurt or whatever. But you don't want to hurt yourself, or you don't want to self-harm, or you don't just want to like, or you don't think about going for a walk. Because like, whenever I'm annoyed, my first thought is go for a walk or like clear my head.
Yeah.
But for other people it isn't. for the people, it's like take your anger out and stuff.
Do you think that's another part of educating people to go outside
Well,
or to not do that, or do you think
it's more about like teaching people how to like self-control and stuff when they get annoyed and stuff?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I used to be one of the people who would like, if I was annoyed, I'd just smack you.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, and then like, obviously, I've changed.
Obviously, it's not like that now, guys.
No.
Right, yeah, no, yeah.
Obviously, you change. Like,
yeah.
And obviously, like people change over time. But I mean, if you don't, then you're like, that's how that starts. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also on just what Solomon was just saying about the first lockdown and how they didn't implement anything like that. I do agree with Solomon, but I feel like they didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Purely because like it was like this COVID thing's killing lots of people.
Yeah.
It's a major thing. Let's just try and stop that from getting big.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It will take other things.
Like, yeah.
Just stay indoors.
Yeah.
And then later on, it's kind of like, what do you call it? They try to not have a massive impact. They try to like stop COVID a lot from being like really awful.
Yeah.
Which obviously it was, but it could have been worse.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then later on during lockdowns, like the next lockdowns, they actually started to. It wasn't as much of just a gut decision.
Yeah.
More than actually thinking about like what could be the problem with this and that and this.
Yeah.
So it was like
Well, thank you, Josh. Interesting points, and yeah, I agree with you. Aaron, what do you think about what Josh has
Yeah, like Josh
said
was
as
saying,
well?
but I say people staying indoors all the time, that's a problem. Like when the government first brought lockdown in, you could only they said only come out once a day. We can't do that, we're human beings, we're not supposed to stay indoors every day of our lives. I don't think they understood that well, because they could go out, couldn't they? They could do what they wanted to do. Whereas we have to stay indoors all the time like we're in prison.
Yeah.
It's just because of the virus, people dying from it, I understand that, but because of my point of view itself, I didn't really see it as a threat, but stay indoors all the time, it's going to cause tension inside the households of like people who are vulnerable and that, who can't really, because they got scared of it, didn't they?
Yeah.
They got very like anxious about it, about going outside and that, so they thought it's the best thing to stay inside.
Yeah.
Which could have brought the violence upon them as well.
Yeah, thank you, Harry. Because recently Ian Wright, I don't know if you watched it, did a documentary on Home Truths as well, and he grew up with domestic violence in his household as well, where his stepdad, it wasn't his dad, his stepdad used to smack his mum, but he can't really do anything about it because he was young, and now he's still remembering that. So I mean, last point. What do you think domestic violence can do to kids? Because he's remembered that now, and he's 50 or nearly 60.
You know what? I mean, if we're talking about what emotionally what it does to kids and physically, well, obviously physically it's still domestic abuse, and obviously it's still terrible. Of course, why would you want to violently beat your child? That's terrible. But again, obviously there's other reasons to that. But I mean, from a kid's standpoint, looking at either like your parent getting emotionally or physically abused, you're gonna take that in. Like some kids will think, oh, that's normal, or some kids will think it will be that something's definitely wrong there. Why to stop? Kids really want to like protect their own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I know this is a very controversial example, but I'm gonna say this, but Chris Brown. He grew up in a home where his, I believe it was his, either his dad or stepdad, he beat his mum a lot, and he couldn't really do too much about it, constantly. But ultimately, and he swore that he would never do anything like that. He was always trying to, never abuse women. But then ultimately, the Rihanna situation.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That was a long time ago.
It was quite a long time.
Yes,
but so I mean, like he was a kid who grew up in a household where domestic abuse occurred multiple times, and he swore he would never be like that. But ultimately, he fell into not necessarily that trap, but he fell into that kind of pattern. And it's like history, pretty much going in a big circle typically.
Yeah.
And he regrets it. Don't get me wrong. He regrets it. I mean, yes, there is more to the story because apparently Rihanna was hitting him too. But also Rihanna as well. She's a child of a family of lots of domestic abuse as well. You know what I mean? So again, you could argue that both of them ultimately ended up, you know, becoming what they hated the most. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, that doesn't define them, but even then, they both did something that was terrible
Yeah.
to each other.
Yeah.
And of course, they made amends and they're fine now. But even then, it's like, you know, as a kid, you're so vulnerable. You are so like sensitive. You're like, things are new to you.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know right from wrong.
Yeah.
But obviously, if you're in like a constant, you know, like cycle or a constant habit, then it'll become kind of normal to you. You know what I
because
mean?
you think, all right, yeah, my mum's just, you know, crying, yeah, I think that's all right. Or, you know, they'll think in their mentality, oh yeah, it's all right, and I'll do that to my girlfriend, my wife, my ex, you know what I mean? But last point, Harry, about this before we move on, what do you think?
I was going to say, it's nurtured. It's nurturing. Like when they're bringing up, they just see it, or like you just said it, like they're just visualising it, saying, is this all right to do then? So can I do this when I'm older? I get a partner, whatever. It's like, but hearing what you had to say about Rihanna and Chris Brown, like same Ian, right? It's the past as well. The past that they had growing up in like the 70s, 80s. It wasn't the best, was it back then? Being a kid back in them days, Lydia, compared to now anyway.
Yeah.
I know it's still going on, but back then, that's where it must have been adopted from and nurtured.
Yeah.
To this day.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Harry. Josh, last point before we move on.
I mean, I disagree with them too. On like, it obviously, if you see your mum getting hit, you're not going to be like, oh, maybe I could do that in the future. Obviously, like you're going to disagree with it because it's natural instinct. If you see someone upset, you're naturally.
Yeah, but if you're young, if you're a young perspective and you don't really understand what's going on, what would you think?
If I was 7 and I saw my mum crying and found out that my dad had smacked her, I would have been like, oh, that's just.
But if your dad said, oh, it's okay, it's nothing to worry about, what would you think then?
Yeah, but you'd see the reaction. It's like you can tell if someone's sad.
Yeah, but sometimes you can't because you made, you know, if for example, if your mum were crying and you said, oh, what's wrong, mum? She's like, oh, nothing wrong. Something about work. She'll make sure sometimes. Yeah, but sometimes you got what I mean. They may not say exactly what is wrong. They may make an excuse.
Yeah,
you get what I mean? Because they don't.
However, if your parents were like, if one of your parents being domestically abused when you were like 7, like they probably won't stop by the time you're like 14.
Yeah, so
when you're 14, right, obviously it's like different for different people. But by the time you're 14, in my opinion, you should be able to make your own opinions. You should have like the knowledge and experience. Like that's made someone hurt. That's not a good thing. That's just the basics.
But has any? This is what I said before. Do you think there needs to be more education? Because look, there's okay then.
Yes,
that's
but I feel like the education isn't even that bad now. I mean, obviously, we'll only find out when like our generation grows up to see this education. So do you think that should be taught before we grow up? So by the time we leave, so maybe in like obviously,
in high school?
I feel like they can't start it too young because it's quite a difficult issue. But maybe like 14 to 16, 14 to 18, just like bringing it up and talking about it. But obviously, if like you know, people know like hurting other people is wrong. That's like something you get talked about.
Oh yeah, the abuse is wrong, but like kids, what we're on about.
So obviously, but it's just like these two saying that if you grew up watching your dad hit your mum, you might grow up and think it's okay to hit your wife.
No. We never said it would be okay.
That's kind of how I viewed it is that when you grow up, let's say you've seen your dad hit your mum, right, and then you've grown up, you might hit your wife, right? Right. I mean, I just doubt that. Like,
no, right.
If you were gonna domestically abuse your partner, I feel like no matter if your parents did it or your parents didn't do it, you probably still domestically.
Oh no! Don't get me wrong. What I mean, again, what we're saying is right that kids know right from wrong. Of course, right. When they see like something bad happen to their parent or someone they love, they are going to try and defend that person who is done wrong to, or try and defend the. Don't get me wrong. Of course, that's common. Of course, right. But don't get me wrong. Especially on the background where they're living in. Where like the situation they're living in, even right, it's not always the case for some kids because some kids will always, because if they're broken that constant cycle, right, they're gonna think, oh, it's normal to do that.
Yes.
Because if they're brought up in that, that environment, it's gonna be like, oh, okay. So I mean, it's not like they're like, okay, yeah, that's definitely what I'm gonna do. It's like, oh, right. So
Yeah,
the man of the house has to hit the woman
Yeah.
then to make sure she.
Yes,
but it's not like it's not.
But if you know that hitting somebody is wrong, right?
Yeah, but some people don't, Josh. Some people, like,
Yes,
you can
and
see on
they
many
can be taught that
films.
then.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. These
Yes.
kids in the past haven't been taught about
Yes,
that.
that's what I'm saying, that it's changing now, but like our
Not changing
generation-
now, because look at the figures.
Yes, I know. Yes, but what do you call it? What do you call it? Like our generation, you're only going to know if the education's worked, the improvement in education about it, when our generations got older, right? Or the next generation after whatever now.
But where's domestic abuse being taught? Because
It's not
have you
being
been
taught.
taught about it in high
No,
school?
but domestic abuse is just basically it's just constant assault on your partner.
You know what? I will meet in the middle and say that. Of course, right? Of course. Let's just say, for instance,
It's just you only know that the attempt at educating the younger generation is right or has worked when they've grown up.
I mean, to be like, but I mean, I'll meet in the middle and say that. Of course, right? You.
Sorry, so
Can I ask
Harry
you,
wants
what
to
if
jump in.
if it's in a poor area, what if other kids are getting, like other parents are getting abused and that's, like you said, come on, what if the mum said it's, oh no, don't
Yeah.
listen to this. What if they go to school, the kid that's got parents exactly the same, and they grow up,
yeah,
so no, does he
and
not
Ian
want to do
might
this?
open up about his
it's
teachers,
normal.
so it's
Yes.
abuse.
It's individuals, like
No,
little kids themselves.
right. I'm not disagreeing that in the past, if you were in a household of domestic abuse, right, that might cause you to domestically abuse someone, right? I'm saying that, right, because now that people are getting educated more about domestic abuse, what I'm trying to say is that now you can only know if the education around domestic abuse, right, has worked when that generation who's had the change in the education about it has grown up, right? You can't use figures from the older generation to
But it
verify
isn't from the
if
older
our
generation.
If yes, but it's difficult to explain. Basically, it's like that range was quite large, yeah. Right, it was like from 18 to 75-year-olds or whatever, right? It's like that. Most of them might be from like 40 plus, or most of them might be from 20 plus. And then you would know, like, and then depending on when most of them are from, you can tell if education is working, because theoretically, the number should decrease as people as the younger you go.
Well, let me.
So if you looked at 20 to 30-year-olds, theoretically, because they've been educated more,
Not necessarily.
it should be less than 40 to 50-year-olds.
Well, it says here, when analysing data over a long time period, we use the 16 to 59 age range as the change in the upper limit for survey respondents from 59 to 74-year-olds was introduced in April 2017. This is from the Office for National Statistics. The cumulative effect of small year-on-year reductions included a significant decrease in the year ending March 2009, has resulted in a significantly lower prevalence of domestic abuse experienced by adults aged 16 to 59 in the year ending March 2020, compared with the year ending March 2005, figure 2 for example. 4% of men and 8.1% of women aged 16 to 59 had experienced domestic abuse within the last year in the year ending March 2020. This compared with 6.5% of men and 11.1% of women in the year ending March 2005. So, there, you're saying about 30-year-olds, they're still getting abused by the... It's an example, if a 30-year-old woman went out with maybe like a 30-year-old man, they're still getting abused, so it's not like it's...
No,
you know what I mean?
Education needs to get better about it.
Okay, right.
Basically, what I'm saying is, either way, education about it needs to get better.
So that was an interesting debate, so thank you guys about that.
Was one.
Right, moving on from that debate, a nurse who looked after Boris Johnson while he was in hospital with coronavirus has resigned, claiming a lack of respect for NHS workers. Jenny McGee, a lead intensive care nurse, cared for the Prime Minister over 2 nights after he was admitted to St Thomas's Hospital in London with COVID-19 April last year. Mr Johnson named and thanked Miss McGee and her colleague nurse Louis Patama after he was discharged, but Miss McGee has criticised the government over its proposed 1% pay rise for NHS staff following their efforts throughout the pandemic. Jenny said, "We're not getting the respect and now pay that we deserved. I am just sick of it. So I've handed in my resignation." So it prompts the question for this segment: do you think her claims of the government's treatment of the NHS is true?
Harry.
The respect, I don't know where she's getting that from. Do you remember the round of applause we give them every Thursday at 6 o'clock?
No.
Every week. Is that not enough for her?
Yeah, but currently, yeah, it was, but if they're not getting paid right for 12-hour, 16-hour shifts, why would you clap? We're clapping for them for their, brilliant work, what they've done for COVID-19, which they have, but they're not getting paid right.
At least they got a job though. Some people lost their jobs, businesses and all that. How come they didn't get round of applause? They couldn't do anything about it. The government closed them down.
This is a health crisis. Like, we're not talking about businesses. This is basically the NHS and all the healthcare workers, not getting paid. Well, teachers got a pay rise, but not at the NHS. So, what's your take on that?
Well, 1%. I'm sorry. That's. I don't know how all of them get paid, but there's different positions. It's not just one position in the NHS, is it? She was just working on a ward, was it?
Yeah.
And after it, that's a different job to a surgeon, isn't it, in the NHS?
But Harry, they took, remember let me get my words right. When COVID first came here, most of the nurses took on extra jobs what they weren't trained for to help the NHS, and they just won't get paid right.
Where have you got this stuff? How do you know they got extra jobs though?
Well, it said on the news they had to remember they got volunteers, had to get volunteers to help out. Remember in the first lockdown they had to get volunteers to help the NHS. They had to ask retired people to come back to help the NHS because there were the demand was very high. We're not talking about now, we're talking about when COVID, that how many deaths and how many cases there were in hospital.
Well, I heard it different, you see, because my brother's partner, he works in the, medical, and the A&E ward.
Yeah.
He said it was empty.
And
During
when
COVID, he said it was empty.
Yeah, but it
It was
depends.
during
Yeah, but
COVID.
that's A&E, not
It was
really.
in Manchester. Near Manchester, I think it might be in Blackburn, I don't know. Somewhere
But,
there. He said
but that's a
it was empty.
specific area, not really where people are.
But I thought it affected the whole of England. I thought it affected all ages. That's what the government said.
I know,
Said
but
it affected
I
everyone.
know
What do you
someone who
think,
worked. I know someone who worked at the BRI who wasn't in A&E but was on a COVID ward.
Where else is this?
What BRI? That's a
Bradford,
boy.
right, Bradford,
Yeah.
Bradford.
So, and I think my sister said when one of her mates had to go to hospital, they said it was virtually the same thing. There was like COVID wards.
Oh, yeah, there's COVID ones
yeah,
in every
but there's
hospital.
COVID wards are different to A&E. A&E's like A&E's a different thing. A&E's like
It's accident and emergency.
yeah,
but
exactly.
still
But COVID wards are different.
So
thing.
I'm just going to read you something from this is from the Guardian. It says here, Miss McGee, obviously she's a lead intensive care nurse at St James Hospital, described how she found the Prime Minister when she arrived for work. All around him there were lots and lots of sick patients, some of whom were dying. I remember seeing him and thinking he looked very, very unwell. He was a different colour really, so lots and lots of sick patients.
It's a COVID ward. What do you expect?
Yeah, but what I was saying about the A&E were empty.
Do you know how many people got COVID this year? All time in the UK? How many people actually got it not died?
Yeah, I know most people.
Loads of them.
Most people.
Million.
I know most
I
people.
was gonna say 27.
Do you know how many
I know.
people died though?
I know there's been most
What's that?
there's been most people have recovered from it, but obviously there's been the death toll now is the death rate maybe
Yeah, because
100
it was
and
128,000.
Yeah.
But the people that died from that probably had like problems with the body itself.
oh yeah, we get that, but what we're on about is the pay.
Elderly.
Simon, what do you think? Because obviously you haven't said nothing.
I'm gonna have to say I'm like in the middle, but I'm more towards what you guys are saying. I've got to say that Yeah. I don't think.
Why are you in the middle?
I'm in the middle because, well, to be fair, it may be biased because it is coming from the government website itself. But even then, it's like, from what the statistics I've found here, it's like the government continues to support the NHS in its fight against COVID. Government has provided £63 billion in 2020 to 2021 and £29 billion in 2021 to 2022 to support health services, increase the NHS core non-COVID budget from £130 billion to £136 billion. That's why I'm like, okay, so it is funding, but then there are some lack of funding as well.
But you remember, it's got to cover the whole.
Yeah. Which I mean, so like again, that's why I think it's probably a bit biased there. But I do agree with both you and Josh in saying that there is a lack. There is a lack of a bit of respect going on there as well, because not every NHS member has. I mean, there's someone that's been fired for
mistreating.
Well, yeah.
Patients and all. I've seen it myself. Some people, like some hospitals, say like Bristol, one of their NHS hospitals got closed down because of the way they treat the patients and like the elderly in them.
I mean, I can see that as well. You know what I mean? But there are some that also got fired for actually doing their job.
Yeah. Well, I want to just read it. What's in the Guardian now? So it says across the NHS and independent sectors, the percentage thinking of leaving profession increased to 36% or more than a third, from 27% at the end of 2019. Of those thinking of leaving, 61% cited pay as a factor. Other factors cited include the way nursing staff have been treated during the pandemic, 44%, and low staffing levels, 43%, and a lack of management and support, 42%. So 36% want to leave the profession because of pay. 61% cited pay as a factor.
I mean, given that they've like spent like. They haven't really taken a day off for the whole of it. You know, of course you're going to be like, we're taking care of people, risking our lives to take care of those people. Yeah. You know what I mean? Of course we want to get, the right rate of pay, you know what I mean, for what we're doing.
So are you still in disagreement, Ari? Are you still in the middle?
I'm sort of like in the middle, but in a way, just again, I'm mainly against COVID. Like the COVID side of it. Because in general, the NHS are great. We're lucky to have
we are.
What I've had done at the NHS and that. Very lucky to have them, but in certain cities in England, NHS doesn't run the same. It's just with COVID as well. It's not. Some places it hasn't been the best. I don't know. It's just how they've dealt with it. I can't really get better words out right now. It's just.
Well, thank you, Harry and Solomon, for that. Josh, let me just put this last thing to you. So, because we don't really know how much they get paid, so I've got it here now. So this is from nurses.co.uk. So it says here, if you are a newly qualified nurse, you'll earn a band 5 starting salary of £24,907. But if you've been a band 5 nurse for 2 years, then from April 21 your salary will be increased by just over £2,000 a year. Says here, meanwhile, if by April 2021 you've been a band 5 nurse for 4 years, your salary will jump by around £500, from £26,970 to £27,416. So, Josh, do you think that's enough, or no?
A 1% increase isn't enough, because I think you said something like 61% were leaving because of pay.
Yeah, 61 cited pay as a factor, yeah.
Think about it, right? Inflation, right? So they can buy less with the amount they are getting paid, right?
Yeah.
And also, we're like clapping for them and saying how like important they are and how we need them and all of that, and then we're not willing to offer them a wage which reflects how important that we view them, right? And obviously, as inflation increases, they can buy less with the money that they've got. And I think a while ago, they increased the pay for NHS workers, or it might have been police or something.
Yeah.
They increased wages for them, but it basically just matched the inflation. So they weren't actually getting a pay increase; they were just getting it matched to where it should have been if it increased with inflation, right? And I feel like 1% hasn't matched it with the inflation, and isn't a reflection of how much they've been valued, or at least we've been clapping, like they've been clapped for the NHS and all of that stuff.
Mhm.
And even if people didn't mean that, they're still, it still perceives that they're really important, right?
Mm.
So they should earn more money than what
Yeah.
they are. So either way, it's that they've been perceived to get more money and they should be making more money. So 1% isn't enough, it should have been more like, I don't know, 10, maybe 15.
Yeah, I honestly agree with you. Just some valid points you made there. Last point, Harry, because I know you're still in the middle. Last point before we move on.
I agree. It should be increased from 1%. How important the NHS are to us, like I said previously.
Yeah.
They're essential. We're lucky to have them.
Yeah, we
in
are.
this country. Well,
Yeah.
a major part of the country. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's quite a situation it's in now. I do agree with like some of them dropping out. And that,
Yeah.
I think there's still a lot to do.
Yeah, hopefully the government will, make a U-turn with this.
Especially with the because the NHS is kind of getting like ran into the ground.
Yeah.
And like the government currently, I think anyway, really would prefer it if there wasn't national and it was more privatised. So I genuinely think that the NHS is a brilliant thing.
Yeah.
And we should support them, and they should have got more of a pay rise than 1%.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going to end it. So,
Thank you. I think we all agree on that. Solomon, what last point?
Yeah, again, I do agree that there should be a higher percentage of pay for them.
Yeah.
Again, they are literally putting their lives
On the line, yeah.
to help people in this country.
And the
So-
and the amount of black, I'm not just going about race, but the amount of black people who were in the NHS profession died with, of risk of COVID, the most rather than white individuals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
High risk, so I do agree that they need to have a bit more respect and definitely lose their pay.
Yeah, thank you guys. I'm just going to read this last bit. So a Downing Street spokesman said, our NHS staff have gone above and beyond over the past year, and this government will do everything in our power to support them. We are extremely grateful for the care NHS staff have provided throughout the pandemic, in particular that this is why they have been exempt from the public sector-wide pay freeze implemented as a result of the difficult economic situation created by the pandemic. At the same time, we have invested 13 million to support staff mental health and are expanding the number of places available for domestic students at medical schools in England to continue expanding our workforce. So that's it. But I think we're all in agreement. Yeah, they should get a pay rise then, but thank you guys for that. That was an interesting topic, wasn't it? But now, yeah, we got the NHS. Well, that is it for our 2 sections of discussions. But please stay tuned, because after the break, we'll be discussing a new dilemma that has got us all with a straight up opinion. And we'll be playing a game of Loose Mandem Does Guess the Picture. See you in 2 ticks.
Walk and skank and me say walk and skank, yes sir. Walk and skank and me say walk and skank. One. Walk and skank and me say walk and skank. Yeah. You go out of the street, you be walk and skank. Yeah. You go.
Welcome back, nice to see you again. Still to come on today's show, all of our panelists will be playing another new game of Loose Mandem does Guess the Picture, and I'm praying someone other than Solomon does not win on this game, but we will see in the next 9 to 10 minutes. Right, as I said at the start of the show, we have a new dilemma from the Sun newspaper that his wife is having a fling with a female colleague. The couple are in their late 30s and have been together for 12 years. They've both attended the same school but they went their separate ways. Paths did not cross again until their early 20s when the man bumped into her on a night out, and after that they dated for 3 years before getting married. They now have 2 children together, a son aged 10 and a girl aged 7. The wife's job had high demands in the past year and spent longer hours at work. That's in quotation marks, longer hours at work. One day she came home from work clearly upset. She dropped the bombshell that she was in love with somebody else, and all those extra hours were spent at her lover's place. He demanded to know who he was and was gobsmacked when she said it was a she. His wife admitted seeing this woman for the past few months, and now this colleague was asking for her commitment. He thought he would be press-ganged, but he was surprised at how much he liked her too, and now they are considering becoming a throuple, as she now expects him to accept this woman into their lives. So we are the Loose Mandem, and here are our reactions. God almighty. So let's start with this. What do you think about that?
I hate humanity. No, but in all seriousness, I think like so weird. It is kind of weird because it's like she cheated on you, and now you just let her invite like her side thing into your home, into your relationship, and you're expecting everything to go all ship and all lovely, but it's not. You're in a relationship with 3 people, right? That it just doesn't really work, because ultimately you're gonna spend you probably share your emotional side with one, and then your physical side with another, or you're gonna direct both your physical and your emotional to one. Or even you're both gonna have feelings for one, and then you both compete against each other, or even it's just not. It's just not ideal, and it's just ridiculous to me. I mean, if it makes you happy, then you can. But to me, it just doesn't sound, good. Like how do you move forward with that?
So
how do you even tell kids that? The kids are gonna be confused.
Okay, yeah, that's really true. But if your wife, if it was a similar situation with your wife, would you accept? And you like the girl, sexually and physically, would you become a throuple, or would you?
Well, this is what I mean. Okay, no, just no. This is what I mean. All right, of course, sexual things and moral things, it's you can either have one of them do it without the other. Bull crap. This is what I mean. You're you kind of like it too. But if that's the case, then why are you even married? Why are you in a relationship right now? Your wife's cheated on you, and then you also develop feelings for this other person as well, and you have 2 children. It's does it make sense?
Guilty about leaving the kids and dad.
Pardon?
Might feel guilty about leaving the kids and the dad, so just was free.
No, it just doesn't. Alright. It doesn't make sense to me, right? It's you can't just let it go that she cheated on him because she did.
Yeah, but now he's forgotten about that because he's so invested with this new colleague,
Well, then,
with his new friend.
I'm sorry, but he's an idiot.
Well, Harry's dying to speak. Go on. What do you want to? What's your opinion about this?
Yeah, it's not saying you can't hear it, John.
Okay. Oh God. Well. Okay. You can speak on. Yeah. Go on.
It's their choice. I've seen on TLC, I think on YouTube, this couple with 2 men and 1 woman. I think that's weirder than 2 women and 1 man. It's their choice. I mean, certain other.
Yeah, but alright. Say because someone gave it.
I've seen a bloke who was in love with his car. It doesn't mean it's not weird.
Got married like an outfit one time.
Exactly.
Oh God.
It
But
doesn't mean just because who wants it, you got to tell you. It's not that weird. No, it isn't weird.
because obviously I gave the example of if that happened in someone's situation, what if that happened in your situation, in your relationship, would you become a throuple if you like the colleague as well, or the friend?
I don't know, it's in that situation, so I can't really say.
Have you not?
I don't like, well, no,
I thought it was normal.
Have you been in situations like you like a girl, like a girl, but you don't know which one to choose, but you like another one as well?
you might as well try it for a year and see what you think.
Okay. All right. I'm just going to read something from obviously this article now. So it says, the friend is 28 and stayed over, for I realised that broke COVID rules. So they broke COVID rules as well. And you know, we don't condone breaking COVID rules on this show. It said also, my wife showed her to the spare room and stayed there a while. Then she came into our bedroom and it was obvious that they had just been intimate. After that, my wife was all over me. Can it work long term with the 3 of us? So this is what he said to the agony aunt Deirdre. So this was Deirdre's response. We are all capable of having our heads turned, even in the most loving of relationships. What counts is wherever you act on it. Your wife wants it all. She's cheated and you deserve better, like what Solomon said. But it is easy to neglect a relationship without realising it. My support pack on cheating addresses where you might go from there. Tell your wife you don't want to share her. How would she explain this to your kids? So that's what someone's saying. She's ruining your happy family life. So what do you think about that, Josh?
I don't know, but I realised that Solomon would be a great agony aunt.
Yeah.
So basically, personally, right, I'm a bit like Solomon, I mean, because it's kind of just like, it's not like she wants to bring her into the relationship. It's like what she wants to do is consensually, with her husband's permission, go into the spare room, get it on with a lady friend, and then go into her own bedroom and get it on with her husband. That is weird.
What if she's a prostitute then? What if it's her job to do this?
No, I don't think. No.
No,
she's.
So was it like I said, like her colleague or something like that?
She's got
So.
long hours. She's been doing big
So she works. So the wife works in human resources. So it's not nothing like prostitution. Yeah. So the wife works in human resources. Yeah. And like I said, the last year has been very high demands for her, and she's been, spending longer hours at work, where the longer hours we're spending with the girl.
I don't want to say things. I don't think
He just human resources for her.
No, right. But right, I don't really take things like face value a lot. But this, to me, she seems very selfish. Like, she's lied, cheated. Like, she hasn't considered the kids. She hasn't considered you. She just literally went behind your back, used her job as an excuse, and then said, "Oh yeah, can we just bring this woman to our home now, like marriage and stuff, because why not?"
But now, thank you, Solomon, for that. But now, do you think it's important for women and men in relationships to just open up about their preferences, their sexuality, rather than going cheating behind the box?
It's easier said than done, but I should definitely think they should try at least.
Yeah.
Be able to be honest with your partner.
Yeah, I mean,
But on this particular case of this, I think that last time it was a very similar thing. Last time I was on, where someone was cheating. And last time I said confront them. Unluckily, you can't confront them this time, and you can't lose the kids. So instead, I think you should skip confrontation. Actually, no, because he likes the woman.
Yeah, he likes her too.
That's just. Oh, he's just.
So
He
right,
needs therapy.
okay, right. So is that your advice to him? What would be your advice to them all then?
Right. Extra woman.
So the colleague, yeah,
Extra woman.
yeah,
Stay friends.
okay,
Not with benefits for friends.
yeah. Wait,
And the couple should pay and go in. Sorry, I can see Solomon's in the corner of my eye. And I think the couple should save up a bit of money, right? Actually, yeah, they would have had enough money if she'd have actually been doing longer hours, but she hasn't been. And then they can save money, and then they can go and find a really, really good marriage counsellor. And then they go to the marriage counsellor. The marriage counsellor's like, and if the marriage counsellor in the first session says explore it more, go to a different one.
okay,
Because
but what if they go
say
for?
explore it more, and she goes, yeah, I'm gonna do that, then he should divorce because it's weak, because it's polygamy, and that's.
But really, because of
Yeah,
the ones
no,
accepting it.
It's polygamy.
Okay.
They will have multiple sexual partners, and he will basically have 2 wives. That's weird. That is
Yeah, yeah.
polygamy is illegal in a lot of places in America. I'm not sure if it's illegal in the UK. I only know it's illegal in America because they try to avoid Mormons.
Oh,
Yeah. So I personally think you should either I think get rid of the woman, stay friends with them, but not living with them.
But if they do get rid of her, the wife might leave the husband for not accepting that
Right.
they want to be a
But if you
throuple.
think about it, if she's living with them, that is a constant reminder that your wife
Oh
is
yeah.
getting with
Oh
someone
yeah.
else.
Yeah.
And now
Go on, sorry. Yeah,
Right.
sorry.
And now she's doing it in your own home. She's doing it maybe in the room next to where your kids are sleeping. That's
Yeah, that's
mad.
that's valid. But the adults aren't there. At the end of the day, if you know. But this is what I said. If you're gonna go into a relationship, open up in the first couple of years. I know it's hard to open up, but they've been together for 12 years and she's now doing this.
I mean, yeah, if she was like open with anything, he was like, oh, I want to see what it's like to be with a girl, he might be like, oh right, you can experiment, right? But obviously, you've always got to come back to me at the end of the day, yeah? Right? But now, she's taken it upon herself to go and hide it and lie.
Okay.
And all of that.
Okay.
And that's the bit I disagree with.
Alright, valid. Harry, what would be your advice to the all?
If it was the other way around, it'd be a lot different.
Yeah.
Do you think?
A lot more different.
Right.
Woman, you don't really see that, do you? You don't really hear that, but you can hear a man cheat on a woman. That's
Yeah.
That's the norm, isn't it? To us?
Yeah.
You don't really see
I
it.
feel like if it was the opposite, and it was a man who had a gay partner, the woman would leave him instantly.
Yeah, because obviously she won't be attracted to, gay people unless she's a lesbian
That's
herself.
bisexual.
But alright, yeah, but this is the thing. Do you think she is, or do you think she's curious?
She's either bisexual or bi-curious. I think obviously she's bisexual because she literally wants the woman to move in with her.
Yeah, but what if she's experimenting?
Then it's going to be a really awkward conversation.
Okay,
You say,
that's what I'm saying,
"Oh,
these-
leave, I'm
these-
not interested in you
Yeah,
anymore."
these stuff need to
Bye-bye.
have these conversations need to happen in the first couple of years of or months of the relationship. What would your advice be, Solomon, before we move on?
Honestly, it's. I would say definitely try counselling.
Yeah.
Get some advice from that. Get a woman. But make your wife pay because. But no.
All of the extra hours of work she's
Oh, yeah, the long hours at work.
The long hours
I feel like I'm
of
being
work,
really
yeah.
petty right now. I
I like how you're the one being petty. I'm not really saying.
No, but even in that, it's like, bro, nah, like, I think there is like again opening up is the
Yeah, definitely.
to do that.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, what how old are the kids? What 7 and
Yeah, 7 and 10.
7
Yeah,
and 10.
yeah.
Like,
They're nearly teenagers, aren't they?
awkward for them.
Yeah.
And you know, the husband. I don't know why the husband. I mean, again, you develop feelings. I'm pretty sure, but you're in a situation where, let's say, yes, she's curious, but then she realizes that maybe she is
A lesbian.
gay.
Yeah.
Then she's gonna.
And that would be so heartbreaking for. Well, I don't think it would be heartbreaking for those women because he may be, you know, into lesbian women as well. You know, as in, you know. But
they're not interested in him.
Well,
yeah, yeah.
Literally,
He might be, you know, he might be interested in the idea of like having a wife that is allowing another woman into the relationship.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not. It's like for sexual. Then it's like, oh, I have 2 women. Then you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
probably where his mindset was. I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's like the main force behind his feelings towards
Mm.
the other woman.
Yeah.
But that might be towards his thing. But even then, it's still wrong because you've been married for 12 years and you've got kids, and it's like it's ethically. So, but definitely go for counseling.
Yeah.
What do you think they should do with the other woman? Because it's going to be difficult to. Because basically.
I think they should all go to counselling.
It's gonna
All 3 of them, yeah.
It's going to be really difficult to get rid of her. Not in a mean way.
No, I know what you
If
mean,
you
yeah.
To get rid of her, that's going to be very difficult. And he needs to be very careful that in the process of getting rid of her, he doesn't always get rid of his wife.
Yeah.
And then that would be the wife's choice, so that's the thing.
Yeah, if she wants to go to counselling. But I think the main advice is if you are planning to go in a relationship or you recently have conversations about, you know, go above and beyond, you know, the basic questions. You get what I mean? I think that's the key to people cheating and, you know, cheating on doing other stuff, other various things. But thank you guys for that. Interesting dilemma. Waiting for Friday's one. Salmon's in the hot seat. He's got a nice dilemma for Friday plans, so we'll be ready for that. Well, I don't know if you guys will be on, but I'm ready for that. But thank you for that. Now moving on to something light-hearted which you lot will love. It is time to play Loose Mandem does Guess the Picture. In this game I will show my drawings which can be something relating to a category such as film, TV, an object, etc. And then either Solomon, Josh or Harry will guess what it is I have drawn. If one of them guesses correctly, they will get 1 point. If they pass or get it wrong, no one will be awarded. I will also give them 2 clues on each of the drawings. You guys watching will be able to see what I've drawn on your screen before these lot know what the picture even is. So you ready?
Let's go.
Okay. My drawings not up to full standard. I'm not like Solomon, so you got to bear with me with my drawings.
Are we going to raise our hands?
So I'm going to show the drawings, and you keep your answer to yourself, and I'll go each individual what your answer is. Okay? So this is.
You have to name a good person at drawing / art, and you pick Solomon.
Oh yeah. Oh sorry. I apologize, people. Sorry, Josh as well. So this is.
That was the biggest kick in the gut ever.
So this is the picture, guys. Could you look away so I can show the people? Okay, look back. 1, 2, 3. Have you got your answers?
Yeah, I've got it.
Okay, right.
Say mine last.
10 seconds. Oh, sorry. I'll give you 2 clues. It is a film,
Oh, I already knew that.
and
Come on.
it's a film.
Oh, watch it. Oh, what else?
Oh.
I'm sorry.
I already.
Okay, right.
That is the practice round. Solomon, do that again.
I'm sorry.
Right.
Can we make the time short?
No, we'll finish when I've done all these.
I'm sorry.
I don't know now if I could award Solomon a point.
No, that's no, don't worry.
Nah, I knew that. If it was say it first, I would have said it about.
Alright, yeah, but Solomon said it, didn't he?
Yes, but you said.
Right, so just give everybody a point because I feel.
Okay, right. Look away. Right, Solomon, listen to me. I'm going to show you the picture. You keep answering to yourself.
I forgot.
Okay. Right, next picture. Look away. Look away.
Nice.
Right, look back at me.
What is it?
It's an object. It's a and it's a saying. That's all I'm giving you. 2 clues. Okay, let's go to Josh. What do you think this picture is?
2 peas in a pod.
Okay, Harry, what do you think it is?
I can't think of anything.
Okay, Simon.
2 peas in a pod.
Well done to Josh and Harry. It is actually 2 peas in a pod.
It was Solomon.
No, you said 2 peas in the pod as well. Yeah, I said Josh and Solomon.
You said Josh and Harry.
Oh, sorry. I apologise. Yeah, Harry didn't get it anyway. So, can you look back again? Right, I'm showing the viewers. Right, look back at me, Harry. You were looking there. Okay. All right. Ready? This is a TV show. What other clues can I give you without they go around various places in the UK. Okay, Josh, what do you think that is?
Can't you ask me last? I'm still trying to think.
Okay, let's go back to you, Harry. Josh, sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me today. Solomon.
Top Gear.
I'm gonna say Top Clock.
What's the answer?
Top Clock.
Okay,
Maybe
Harry and
watching.
Solomon, well done. You got a point. It is, in fact, Top Gear. Right. Let's see how many I've got left. Okay, next one. Look away. Right. Look to me. Right. Ready? Josh. Ready?
This is just that story.
This is a song, and it's a saying as well. So that's it. So what do you think this is, Josh?
Single ladies.
Okay, Josh. Sorry. Okay, and Solomon.
Oh no, wait, hold on. It's a song and it's a saying.
Yeah. We don't really say it that much, but some people say it.
Oh great, single ladies is such a common thing.
Is it the side chick or something? Oh, my God.
Well, you're all wrong. It is 2 become 1 because, as you can see, that's a man and that's a woman, and that is a song from the Spice Girls. 2 become 1.
Okay, I know the song, but that don't look like
I thought the 2 women, 3 women.
No, because look, you've got the you've got the little because you got the little hair there, and then the woman's that, you got the skirt there, and then you got the man there. So no points awarded for that.
I thought
Okay, right,
the
this-
woman had broken up in a relationship and then had some questionable life.
Well, I thought
But-
it was a woman who worked long hours at work.
Right, look away.
Alright, come on, damn it. Oh, I need to win this, please.
Okay, look back.
You're beating
Ready?
me.
1, 2, so look back. Alright, I think it's tired from, the weekend. Alright, right, 1, 2, 3. This is easy. It's something you eat, and a famous fast food brand sells this type of food. So, Josh, what do you think is that?
Cheese on a biscuit.
Okay, right, Harry?
Cheez-Its.
Simon?
No, what is it? Something you eat, it's a favourite brand that's...
Yeah, so a famous fast food brand sells this.
Oh, it's a fast food brand?
King's KFC. Why did I guess that? Why did I guess cheese on biscuit?
I'm trying to make sense of that.
Solomon! Solomon! Stop having
Fast
London.
food
Say
brand
again.
sells this.
Solomon. 3, 2.
Okay,
One.
McDonald's. I don't know.
Okay, you're wrong. Simon, yes, McDonald's sell this. This is a cheeseburger.
Oh, okay.
So you got the seeds at the top, and then you got the brown bit at the bottom, and this is cheese. But Simon, you were right into McDonald's, yeah.
I knew that.
That is not a biscuit.
I thought it was like a pile of biscuits.
Like I said, at the thing, McDonald's not good to stand there. But like I said, the clues are simple.
Why
Fast
does it
food brand
come
sells
out and
cheeseburger.
it's
Okay, right. Right, the last 2 one. Look away. Someone you'll know this one if you don't get it right, obviously. Let's show you.
listen, this is directed.
Alright, I'm looking. Right, 1 minute.
Why did my voice go really high though?
Right, look back at me.
What category is it?
Okay, sorry. Yeah, it is a TV series. And what else can I say? It had Mary J. Blige starring in this.
Mary J.
Okay. Josh, what do you think? Oh, sorry. What do you think this is? Guess?
Power Door 2.
Okay. Harry.
Power Shutters 2.
Solomon.
This is a guess.
Oh, no.
I mean, it's just a guess. Nah, I'm not sure. It's not right.
Oh, he does know. He's just playing with you.
Power Book 2.
Well done, Solomon. Power Book 2. Right, the last one. This should be easy. Well, you should watch it because it's good, isn't
That's a
it?
really good show.
Right, last one. Look away.
Let's get the
This is should be easy. Very, very easy. Look to me. What is that? It's something you drink.
Oh,
And it's a vegetable. Well, sorry, fruit. It's a fruit. Sorry, I don't even know my vegetables and fruits. It's a fruit juice. Okay, Josh.
right. It's either one of two things.
Okay, what's it? You've got to pick one.
It's either an apple or
Yeah.
a cherry.
Okay.
And I can't tell the difference because it's not a very good vote. No offense, Kabar. I'm
Okay.
gonna go with apple juice.
Okay.
I'm going apple juice.
Yeah.
I'm also gonna go apple juice.
Well, you're both. You're all correct. Well done. It is apple juice, and yeah, I should have put some.
Cherry.
I should have put some seeds on that bit. Guys, we've run out of
Yeah,
time.
that's cool one.
So, who's the winner? I think all of you did very well.
Yeah, but I mean like.
Solomon.
Obviously.
I'm sorry, one of them was literally Power Book 2, which two of us have never seen.
Well, it's fair. Well, it's been advertising everywhere. It's popular, so there's no excuse that you shouldn't know it. If me and Solomon know it, and most people know it, you should, you know. But like I said, I could pick any category, and that's what I did. But is it Solomon's one?
My favourite one was 2 become 1.
Okay. Well, Solomon's one. I would like to, just to win.
Right, you see how the energy, right, he gives to anybody else
No.
but me.
Okay.
Come on,
Alright,
no.
alright.
Can I just be? I'll just be the pantomime thing, then I guess.
Well done, Solomon. Anyway.
Thank you, though.
Well done. Well, guys, we have run out of time for today's show. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as we did. I want to thank Sol, Harry, and Josh for joining me and sharing their views bravely on today's episode. Do not forget to like, share, comment, follow us, subscribe, and set alerts on for any of our posts we post on our social media pages, which are on your screen now. Finally, remember to tell all the Mandem and Gyaldem about Loose Mandem. We will see you Friday where Solomon will be in the upstate. Take care, bye.
Walk and skank and me say walk and skank, yes sir. Walk and skank and me say walk and skank. One. Walk and skank and me say walk and skank. You go out of the street, you fi walk and skank.